Hi, this is Bill Martinez. Join us every Monday through Friday from 9 to noon Eastern when we're covering the issues that matter most to you. From Obamacare, the latest from Russia, the Middle East, Israel, immigration, and more. We're talking with the policy and political experts so you can be better informed. It's Bill Martinez Live, brought to you in part by my friends at Good News Tax Relief. Let them help you get your peace of mind back by dealing with the IRS for you. Proven experience, proven results. Call 800-255-7500.
Welcome to Divine Love Talk with Dr. Parthenia Grant, where we talk about health, well-being, and the love of the divine that exists in all of us. Now, here's your host, Dr. Parthenia Grant.
Hi there, it's Dr. Sarah Larson filling in for Dr. Parthenia Grant. I am so excited that you're here with me today. This show is just one of my favorites already for the intentions that we set on the show. I'm here with Heather Powers and her beloved Jason, and they are One Love and Gratitude, and they've got just the most amazing stories and songs. And today's show, we are talking about solitude. We're talking about you and the holidays. And this time right now is such a precious time all around the world. And so we're so glad that you're here. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Sarah. We're so honored that you invited us today.
And I am so excited about you sharing a song, The Fortress of Gratitude, Solitude. Fortress of Solitude coming in, which to me, solitude is being grateful for the space that you wind up being in with yourself. Solitude. And I'd love to hear what solitude is for each of you guys.
Oh, thank you. You know, this song is really near and dear to my heart because it was the birth of really my new life. It came on the heels of my life being leveled. My mom and dad had passed. My marriage had ended in a span of about 16 months, and I found myself in this little apartment that was so frightening because I had to face me. And I...
Come closer to the mic. Yes, awesome.
And so I realized that there was this place that, exactly like you said, I grew to be so grateful to find this space within myself where nothing was touched and where the divine, I was in this space where I just cried out to God and said, there has to be more of you than what I have known in my journey so far. And I desire you to show me what that is. And really what I was shown was myself and the experience of that thing we call God, that ineffable, unexplainable thing, uncontainable thing called God expressed through us.
It's such a beautiful voice of what is within all of us. This space, your parents had passed, you were going through a divorce, you were in your place by yourself. I remember my husband and I started living in different cities. In Minnesota, he and the kids had moved to Minnesota. And somehow in my life, my work was here in California, and my husband and the kids my husband found himself being called to Minnesota. And somehow I agreed to that. And I found myself being out of our beautiful home into a tiny room in a dear friend's home, and in this tiny space, just going through especially the holidays. Those holidays were filled with ultimate just ache and pain. And for me, I didn't even know at the time how to ask for help. I didn't have the words or the languaging or the self-love or training in any shape or form to tell a friend, hey, could you pray for me? I'm going through something harsh and hard. And I also didn't know how to communicate to my husband. I was so lonely And in those times, and so I know exactly what it felt like to be in that space, in that apartment, and sort of a whirlwind of timeless time of. Prior to that, we were all in one bed. We're attachment parents, and so we all slept in one bed. And all of a sudden, here I am waking up, and there's no rhythm. Yeah.
It reminds me of the hero's journey that Joseph Campbell talks about in the allegory of the cave.
Yes.
That each of us as a soul has to go to at some point.
Yeah.
You know, and how that looks for each of us is different. I, too, went through a divorce and stayed in this little tiny room, this golden painted room. It was really a little chrysalis, and where everything is just taken away and you're forced to just be with you. Mm-hmm. And when you dig deeper into that space, that solitude space, it can be scary. It can be frightening. But I believe and know from experience that is where I have spent many a time in that solitude on my knees in prayer and contact something within that wouldn't have been contacted in the busyness of all the others and all the life and all the busy of life that can be. It's a sacred space in the solitude.
It's a sacred space. I love the analogy of the chrysalis. And I've felt like a caterpillar in my previous life compared to where I am today.
Sure.
Having gone through that amazing chrysalis, that taking loneliness, encapsulating myself and feeling and connecting in a new way, struggling to come out of that into a new space. And it's so different, I think, for the way that men and women go through this space of loneliness and go dive into solitude and then come back out into being who they are. What's the experience? And I ask you, Jason, because as women, describe what your inner thoughts and what you're saying to yourself or how you're talking to yourself during that time frame.
I don't think that we're much different in reality. I believe that there's this place where you feel, I think as a man, when I went through my divorce and went through that place of who am I? What am I here? Who did I fail? Am I valuable anymore? I think that's the biggest thing in solitude is you feel like you failed in some capacity. And maybe that's the difference from a man because we're so accomplishment-oriented and goal-oriented in our nature. But I think that place of fear is rampant. I think we all share in that. I always thought, am I ever going to get out of this chrysalis? I literally had that feeling like, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to get my life out of here. Because it was just, there's a tailspin that happened in me in my solitude. And I had to hit that proverbial bottom and in that bottom get on my knees and prostrate myself flat on the ground and say, look, into thy hands I commit my spirit. I can't do this without you, and I'm not going to try anymore.
That's so beautiful. And Heather, what were some of your inner thoughts? Thank you for sharing that. And what were some of your inner thoughts during that time period? Because it's so important, I think, for those that are lonely, those that are hearing this show can be sent to anyone going through their parents' loss, a divorce, that sort of, what were the inner thoughts that you were going through?
Well, I'll tell you, it was a real mixture for me because, and Jason touched a little bit on failure, I had made a mess out of my life. I had been in a very tough marriage for a while. I came from a very strict fundamental Christian background, which I'm grateful for. My parents love God and were an incredible demonstration of what true love really is, which is why they passed so quickly together. but I did not have the courage to move out on my own, and so I manifested a situation, I manifested an affair that created a disastrous mess for everyone around me. And so in my chrysalis, I faced not only the loss of my parents and grieving the loss of, a family unit being torn apart, but I really had to face those things that were within inside of me that created that much of a disaster.
It's so, there was the abandonment of self prior to the experience of the creation of something that would let you have a walk back to yourself. The affair came in as a wake-up call.
Yes.
There are multiple ways in which we give to ourselves. And for me, I struggled with depression and suicidal thoughts. And so mine were really deep, dark thoughts. And even as happy and as brilliant as my life can be, when the dark moment comes in, there's something within me that starts this inner dialogue to myself that says life would be better without you in it.
Yes.
Can't you see the mess you're making with every thought and every decision and every phone call? And so that was my inner dialogue. And I know from many of the men that I've been lucky enough to counsel and work with, they tore themselves up. They would say the harshest things to themselves and belittle themselves. Quite extreme, and they would poke at even the little attempts they had at going out or connecting with nature or connecting in some shape or form. They would poke at themselves. And so if you're there, or if you have a friend or a family member that you think might be experiencing this, in this show, we've got songs that will really open your heart or their heart coming up next. And we've got great steps in which we are going to continue the path to getting very clear on why you're here, who you are, and what brings in the greatest speed through which you can go in that chrysalis into allowing yourself to butterfly out with purpose. We've got a few more minutes before we go to break. This is Dr. Sarah Larson. You're on CRN Network, and you're listening to Divine Love Talk with Dr. Parthenia Grant. Dr. Grant is out there in the world. I believe she's in Spain, and so I know she'll be listening into us, into the show as well. So we're going around the world. I have friends from around the world tuning in and listening. Egypt, India, Pakistan, much of Europe. And so let's talk a little bit about loneliness.
Oh, man. So loneliness is so funny. It's twofold, really, because there's that kind of lonely when we have isolated ourselves from allowing anything or anyone in, that can create a deeper depression. And then there's the kind of loneliness that is absolutely essential for each of us to discover what really lays within each of us, which is the antidote to loneliness. And you can be alone or in a crowd and know at all times you have coursing through every fiber of your being this life, this breath, this healing, this hope.
It's so beautiful to have these words defined for us, because I feel there's power when we define things very, very clearly. And when we come back, we're going to have songs, we're going to have clear definition and paths laid out back to ourselves, back in. You are listening to Dr. Sarah Larson on CRN. Thank you so much.
You're experiencing pain, back pain, shoulder, elbow, or hand pain, pain from a sports injury. If so, schedule a visit with Dr. Michael Sheps, the leading expert in laser therapy for pain management. Call 310-873-4422 or go to drsheps.com. Experience Epic T, the breakthrough laser therapy system that Dr. Sheps developed to make you pain-free in less time. Laser therapy is a non-invasive, safe, and effective in-office procedure that penetrates deep into your skin without damaging the tissue. It perfectly targets areas of pain to promote fast, natural healing. Relax your muscles, ease muscle spasms, joint stiffness, and arthritis pain while increasing blood circulation. For over 25 years, Dr. Sheps has helped Olympic athletes and sports enthusiasts alike get back in the game. Schedule your visit with Dr. Sheps at his Brentwood office in California. Call 310-873-4422 or visit drsheps.com. That's DRSHEPS.com, 310-873-4422.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. You'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information.
They had obviously researched every place, not just given me names.
Really?
They found me a place for what she could afford, and it was magnificent.
We're now very confident that she's safe, and they just helped every step of the way, and I can't thank them enough.
So if you're struggling to find reliable senior living information, call A Place for Mom. This is a free service, and you can trust them to help you.
If you're struggling to find reliable senior living information for your mom or dad, then call or go online to get the free help you need during this turbulent time. Call now, 800-471-5173, 800-471-5173.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you could donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car, and as a special thank you for calling, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to many exciting locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now, 1-800-785-9618. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher. Call now, 1-800-785-9618. That's 1-800-785-9618.
Hi there, it's Dr. Sarah Larson. We are on with Heather Powers and Jason Michaels. They are One Love and www.agratefulgirl.com. We're talking today about solitude, you, and the holidays. And just before the break, we got into the word loneliness. And during the break, we got connected with and heard very clearly the goddess Sekhmet come into our conversation. Powerfully. We love the great beings that come through and communicate. And Sekhmet is this beautiful fire lioness goddess embodying the burning away fever of essentially you becoming you, connection to source and the higher powers. And Sekhmet releases a wondrous roar, and we feel that loneliness is that spirit soul fever that we get to burn away a lot of the illusion. And we're going to I can't wait for your song, which is such Fortress of Solitude that we're going to play. But it's so beautiful and it's so moving. I'd love for us to talk a little bit more about loneliness, and then we'll start hammering out the differences between loneliness and solitude, and steps into being so great at being by yourself and being the source of being with grateful for everything that's past,
Yeah.
and moving into a grateful attitude and being solid with who you are.
Mm-hmm. You know, something that's coming up is I'm reminded of that movie, Jerry Maguire, where they say to Tom, you know, you're just afraid of being alone.
Yes.
You know, because he's just this super agent. He's busy, you know, and there's so many successful ones, but they're so busy just putting things around them. They're afraid to be alone because that loneliness is a place of fear, because we're afraid at the end of the day that we're going to be faced with ourselves. But as you said, I mean, that's where, you know, that fire of purification has, I can see for myself in that time of solitude, of that fear of being alone. You know, it like I said, it put me on my knees, and I found out in that fire that as it burned all the dross away, that in there was gold, and that ended up magnetizing incredible beings that really resonated with my truth and my true self, and in this realm and others, you know, knowing that you're not alone ever, truly.
Yes.
You know, but it took going through the fire, and I think as a man, I speak to the goddess. You know, they're faces of mother, the faces of the goddess. I think as men, I know my journey has been in that initiation of the goddess, and to jump into that fire, to jump into the womb, and not be afraid, because like Sekhmet or Kali, you know, that fierce goddess, that fire, that take away, she's
destroyer. Yes.
Right? She will take away, she will burn everything for your highest good.
Yes, and I think back to when we were younger, we said, and we were taught through television, through our parents, through, oh, you get the education, you get the car, you get the apartment, you get the house, you get the husband, you get all of these things, and you're happy.
Right.
And you're successful. And after acquiring all of the things that others said, oh, this should be it, there was this great element of loneliness. Great loneliness, great friends, great parties, great people all around, in those check. And even though you're not alone, there's no real connection, and there's that loneliness. And that's that first thing I think you're sharing here so beautifully, that Kali, Sekhmet, all the illusions in life, once we've acquired them, but we might have abandoned ourselves or our true calling. And Sekhmet, Kali, the divorce, the fever of the soul comes in to burn away what no longer serves us, and to really show us and demonstrate what we're really here for. And so when you join us again, we'll be back with more on this. We love you. You are not alone. We are with you. We'll talk to you more and have song coming up next. This is Dr. Sarah Larson on CRN Network with Heather Powers and Jason Michaels. So grateful you guys are here.
Comfort means a state of feeling satisfied, and at thecompanystore.com, your comfort is our #1 priority. For more than 100 years, the Company Store has handcrafted in the U.S. the very best bedding basics, unique items you won't find anywhere else, like our dual warmth comforters that keep you and your partner sleeping at just the right temperature. Bring comfort home today. Thecompanystore.com, 20% off your entire order plus free shipping with code RADIO at checkout. Thecompanystore.com, we are all about comfort.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. You'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information.
They had obviously researched every place, not just given me names.
Really?
They found me a place for what she could afford, and it was magnificent.
We're now very confident that she's safe, and they just helped every step of the way, and I can't thank them enough.
So if you're struggling to find reliable senior living information, call A Place for Mom. This is a free service, and you can trust them to help you.
If you're struggling to find reliable senior living information for your mom or dad, then call or go online to get the free help you need during this turbulent time. Call now, 800-471-5173, 800-471-5173.
Are you nearing eligibility for Medicare benefits? Then you know now is an important time in your life. Medicare benefits can be a complicated puzzle. You don't want to overpay for your Medicare coverage or get the wrong plan. Let Health Markets Insurance Agency help you. With one free phone call, a licensed insurance agent will help you select a Medicare plan that's right for you and your budget. If you're becoming eligible for Medicare, call today and learn how to get the most out of your benefits.
800-793-1960, 800-793-1960.
Health Markets Insurance Agency is the DBA or assumed name of InSphere Insurance Solutions, Inc., which is an authorized insurance agency in all 50 states and the District of Columbia. Not all agents are licensed to sell all products. Service and product availability varies by state.
Call 800-793-1960, 800-793-1960, 800-793-1960, 800-793-1960.
CRN travelers, relax at the beautiful Fountain Grove Inn and Conference Center in Santa Rosa, California. Come to quality and come to luxury. Experience the newly renovated guest rooms. They're generously sized and they're decorated in the Tuscan tradition. They have great, incredible pillow-top mattresses, luxurious linens, and down-filled comforters. The Fountain Grove Inn also offers complimentary Wi-Fi and internet access. There's warm cookies and coffee every evening in the hotel lobby, and you can visit the newly remodeled Equus Restaurant and Equus Lounge with its new wine bar. It's the ideal place to relax and enjoy a glass of wine and watch our What's Cooking on Wine show on CRN with host Larry Van Alst on Wednesdays. It's the Fountain Grove Inn, Hotel, and Conference Center located in the heart of Sonoma wine country. It's easily located in Santa Rosa off the 101 Fountain Grove Parkway exit. Call 707-578-6101. That's 707-578-6101 or visit fountaingrovinn.com. Here on CRN, we'd like to keep you updated on what's happening in wine throughout the state of California. Napa, Sonoma. The Pacific Coast has great regions like the Central Coast area, Paso Robles, Santa Barbara, Temecula. Join our very own Larry Van Alst as he takes a look at what's cooking on wine, the Sonoma Report. It comes your way Wednesday evenings at 6 p.m. right here on CRN. Winemakers, superstars, wine growers, and more. With Larry Van Alst, what's cooking on wine, the Sonoma Report.
It's Dr. Sarah Larson here with Heather Powers and Jason Michaels. I love your music. And I love hearing you sing. I love hearing both of you speak. And the way in which we met was so divinely orchestrated.
Wasn't it?
As well. And so to hear you sing live in a beautiful circle and a channel and to bring it in, we are just so, and I say we, the listening audience, we here at Divine Love Talk have had so many of your beautiful songs here. And I'd love to start with just a little bit about the story and then the song.
Absolutely. Well, like I shared, life pretty much got leveled in about a 16-month period of time, and because of the divorce and because everything kind of happened so quickly, I don't think I had a real chance to even begin to grieve. And so I found myself, after my marriage was crumbling and after this explosion had occurred, I found myself in this little chrysalis apartment, just knowing that whatever was aching in my soul, whatever I was not connecting to, was not enough any longer. And I think part of what was so powerful and what was able to bust wide open is that I didn't have any elaborate spiritual technology except just a really earnest cry from my heart, knowing that the system, the religious structure that I had grown up in was not working any longer. and
it had taken you as far as it could.
exactly, and I appreciate all of it.
Yes.
But it had taken me to the edge of myself, and I knew that there was a much deeper understanding of who I thought Jesus was, rather than any awareness of who I truly was.
Yes. And so out of that, you started strumming and creating songs.
I did. You know, my career was in Christian music, and so I had come to the end of my proverbial road with that. And in my chrysalis, I began writing for me. You know, what was once a performance or for the external just began sitting in my pajamas for 3 days at a time and just writing and recording, and the catharsis of my soul being allowed to come out, and I began to meet parts of me that I needed to meet.
And I think that's such an important point, that creativity is one of the keys for taking loneliness and turning it into connection with something greater than yourself. And this song is so profound, and sharing tools as well, your own personal journey and some of the tools that come forward. And so this is live in studio, Fortress of Solitude, Heather Powers.
You told me, and I didn't believe you. Couldn't see clear how I'd even get through. Sometimes we all need to sit in the silence, just to move past the tears and the violence, to discover the beauty inside us, be reminded how brilliant this life is. You told me I felt so rejected, but your tears proved it was more than a fiction. Early on, these four walls seemed so scary, and it seemed as though I would be buried. But instead I have been resurrected and awakened to all of my senses. In this fortress of solitude, I don't always have to choose between lonely and loving you. It's just crazy how they go together, and I'm fond of the things I find when I'm sitting alone at night, knowing it's just a little while to embrace every gift in this fortress of solitude. Oh, oh, oh. I should tell you I'll be grateful forever, but I'll save it and I'll pray for adventure, growing stronger without all the safety. It's the risk that gives way to the great things. Now we're moving ahead towards amazing. I'll look back on the trails I was blazing in my fortress of solitude. I don't always have to choose between lonely and loving you, but it's crazy how they go together. And I'm fond of the things I find when I'm sitting alone at night, knowing it's just a little while to embrace every gift in this fortress of solitude. Oh, 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 no, 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 no.
Oh, that is so beautiful. Woo! In studio, we are taking pictures of you because goosebumps and chills all over. And so that is so beautiful. And I love how loving you both are to each other, because you know the backstories in each of those and the tuning of that. And I loved embrace the gifts. And I think that is the part to start with. When I found myself in this tiny room in my friend's home, and Greg and the kids were in Minnesota, and I was flying back and forth, one of the gifts we didn't know we would be given was Greg's mother was diagnosed with cancer.
Wow.
And we didn't know it at the time we made the decision to move. It actually came, she had cancer before. The diagnosis completely, she'd gone through a year of being really, really well, a year and a half into it, and all of a sudden it came back with a vengeance.
Yeah.
And within 3 months, she was gone. And the biggest gift that we got to give at the time, we didn't see it because we didn't see the complete story.
Yes.
But and only those that are way outside the story, Creator, those that we get to channel, can we truly embrace the gift.
Yes.
And it was such a gift for our family to be there, for Greg to be there in the flying back and forth. Every trip, every heart-wrenching conversation experience, that was the question, what's the gift?
Yep.
What is the gift? And then the other part is your senses. The senses being alive.
Yes.
Within the song, when we're surrounded by a lot of noise, for you it was the noise of maybe the church and the career and the performance aspects. For you, all the aspects of accomplishment, all that you had done, not done, all of that enveloped in around all of us. For myself, I had, and I love to serve, and I molded myself into what my husband or my children or whatever was needed in that exact moment. And there was no real connection to myself. I wasn't vulnerable prior to them moving. I was so hard on myself and on everyone else and so afraid. And when they moved and when I learned tuning in, and I speak to angels, I have pictures of angels that have posed for me. I could create and channel for everyone around me the connection because I love to serve.
Yes.
That was a path that was open within myself. And it was a lovely path. But when I got vulnerable and said, oh my God, I'm terrified.
Yeah.
I'm so scared.
Yes.
Every plane flight back and forth. How am I gonna pull this one off? How am I gonna work for so many days and go home and sleep in the same bed with our kids and come back to this city, that city? And I learned to share what was going on and ask for help.
Yes. I think, you know what, you're touching on something that I'm listening with a woman's ears.
Yes.
And I think a lot of times as women, we take on many service roles to everyone around us and are very disconnected with our own being and who we really are, though we play many of the roles in our lives very well.
Yes.
And it can appear that we're very connected. And in a way we are. But there's that deeper connection, and I think that as we are in a vortex of the divine feminine rising within all of us, it is hypercritical that we as women learn how to become utterly vulnerable with ourselves. And I know that Jason has been a huge catalyst for me to become naked within myself and recognize those places that I superimposed my authenticity or my vulnerability out here.
Yes.
But hadn't quite achieved it here. which is where the power is for all of us, right?
Where the power is for all of us lives in our heart.
Yes.
And that connection to our heart.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've gotten to embracing the gifts, activate your senses, really connect with your senses.
Mm-hmm.
And what would you add to that, Jason?
I think the thing that's been stirring up in my heart, first of all, I acknowledge you and just saying I connect to the angels. Because in my solitude, in my loneliness, is where I found my connection to the angelic realm.
Yes.
And knowing that I can never, ever be alone. And so, knowing that that place within the solitude is where I found the beloved in a deeper relationship within my very being. And not until did I fall so deeply in love with that within me is when she popped up.
Ah, so beautiful.
And, if you're in a dismantling, if your life is going through that shift, and we're in conversations with a lot of people right now who are going through this paradigm shift, the old is dying, but that solitude is going to serve you in coming into sacred union with the beloved within, and that's the union you want. Because that will never leave you. That can never forsake you. That can never abandon you, no matter what happens.
And so what I hear you saying is in the solitude, embracing the gifts, being connected with your senses, you asked for signs. And those signs were so beautiful along the path of your connection with yourself. When the signs started showing up and you released what no longer served you in those conversations in your head and the embracing of your heart, all of those signs are what created this ability to even see divine beauty available for you.
Right.
Before, it was almost like blinders on, because there was so much of a fortress in the loneliness, and then fortress in the solitude, embracing all that was and is you. So beautiful. The angels gave you signs. And lots of them. Connection in the deepest way to yourself and to this realm that is greater than yourself. And that created this amazing ability to receive what was meant for you on the path, on the journey.
Yeah.
And so on the other end, what was it like to meet Jason?
It was actually in that fortress of solitude. I remember there was this very specific day in the shower, which is where I think a lot of us get downloads, the water washing over us. And I realized after 2 failed marriages, well, I would like to reframe how I say that, 2 amazing learning experiences, uncovering what parts of me needed to heal. I came to a place where I really recognized that I was whole. Like I didn't feel like I needed someone else any longer. And not that I didn't want to share my life, because I really knew at the end of the day that I'm designed to serve in union. I had it modeled for me and my parents. But I was okay. And the things that I was wrestling with about the shame and guilt that I carried, the stories that I had bought into in terms of who I was or who I wasn't and what I had done and all of that stuff, I felt a wholeness that was really untouchable. And so I think that there was immediately a recognition. There was definitely a soul recognition. I mean, it was immediate. We both recognized each other. But being free enough from what I thought that ought to look like to allow the greatest gift to present itself and recognize it for what it was, not my perception.
That's so beautiful. I'm just so grateful we're having this conversation. And we're going to come back after break and wrap this up with Heather Powers Jason Michaels, One Love, and you can be found at agratefulgirl.com.
Yes.
This is Dr. Sarah Larson on CRN Network. We are just so proud to be speaking our stories for you.
Yes.
And we want you to know how much we care. And you can always reach out to us. We're on Facebook quite a bit and at our website. So this is Dr. Sarah Larson on Divine Love Talk. Please like us on Facebook, and we'll be back for more.
CRN travelers, relax at the beautiful Fountain Grove Inn and Conference Center in Santa Rosa, California. Come to quality and come to luxury. Experience the newly renovated guest rooms. They're generously sized and they're decorated in the Tuscan tradition. They have great, incredible pillow-top mattresses, luxurious linens, and down-filled comforters. The Fountain Grove Inn also offers complimentary Wi-Fi and internet access. There's warm cookies and coffee every evening in the hotel lobby, and you can visit the newly remodeled Equus Restaurant and Equus Lounge with its new wine bar. It's the ideal place to relax and enjoy a glass of wine and watch our What's Cooking on Wine show on CRN with host Larry Van Alst on Wednesdays. It's the Fountain Grove Inn, Hotel, and Conference Center located in the heart of Sonoma wine country. It's easily located in Santa Rosa off the 101 Fountain Grove Parkway exit. Call 707-578-6101. That's 707-578-6101 or visit fountaingrovinn.com.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you could donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car, and as a special thank you for calling, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to many exciting locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now, 1-800-785-9618. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher. Call now, 1-800-785-9618. That's 1-800-785-9618.
You order a glass of your favorite Cabernet, fresh asparagus, hollandaise on the side, a filet, medium rare. You unfurl your napkin with a flair, close your eyes, and prepare to listen. Ah, there it is. The sweet music you long to hear. The sizzle. The sizzle of a Ruth's Chris steak.
The most magnificent corn-fed prime beef, broiled to perfection at 1,800 degrees. Some call it a sizzle. We call it an anthem.
As the waiter approaches, you think, is this one mine or that one?
Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Like Ruth always said, life's too short to eat anywhere else.
Make a reservation online at ruthschris.com or by calling 800-544-0808.
Hi there, it's Dr. Sarah Larson, and we are back with Heather Powers and Jason Michaels, and they're One Love and Gratitude together. Yay, awesome, awesome. And you guys are on Awakening Code Radio next. Tell me about that just a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to be next week, Tuesday the 8th, we'll be joining host Eric Stephen Rankin on Awakening Code Radio, which is 93.5 FM.
It's out of Laguna.
Out of Laguna.
Station.
And that's connected to the 1111 Awakening Code for those that are seeing 1111 and you want to know what's going on. That's a whole Facebook group that Heather and I are content creators for. But that will be on there talking about the holidays, the true meaning of Christ, and
Divine Partnership.
Divine Partnership.
Mm-hmm.
That's so great.
Magdalene.
Oh, I love the 111, and it's so powerful. It's those numbers, if you're seeing those a lot, represent waking up. The angels are with you.
Absolutely. Any of those numbers, 555, we know any of the sequence.
Right.
Look it up. Look for
right.
angel numbers. And
angel numbers are so important. The 111s are really whatever you're thinking is being programmed. 222 is looking at the two sides, and there is an aspect to examine. 333. There is the angels are with you, and you're with the masters, with the trinities. 444 about communication. 555s are about love and change. 6s are around the balancing. 7s activation codes are happening right there. 8s are infinity and lucky numbers. Buy lottery tickets. 9 is around completion and completing things. And then the 0s and the 1s are all the codes. And I can't wait to find your Facebook group. Divine Love Talk will like them, as well as Dr. Sarah Larson. And so what are some of the ways in which you are spending time around solitude now that you're in relationship?
Oh my gosh,
that's a great question.
Yeah, it is. I was thinking a little bit about this when you were talking earlier. One of the things that I think is we can get caught in is that we don't. We can get so many spiritual tools that we don't get down to the act of just really being in solitude. And sometimes our tool bag gets so full that we trick ourselves into thinking that we're doing spiritual practice, when really that quiet, that internal, that solitude is the most powerful practice that we can ever have. And when you're in union, as you know, and you have a family, sometimes that can be a challenge to create that time. But that's where the wellspring of life really is. And so that's
beautiful.
We've always committed that the sacred garden is where we always recommit to, no matter what goes on. And that's the Holy Trinity, the divine braid that can be unbroken. It's unbroken.
It's our prayer time together.
That's so beautiful. I often find the shower as one of those spaces that we go into, and we've just got a couple minutes left to talk about the medical miracles. And I love sharing the medical miracle. And as we're in the holiday season and a lot of coughs and respiratory things come up, there is a system that our body has designed in the spleen. And the spleen, the area that communicates with the spleen, is right around your belly button. If you're coughing or if you're feeling something, take a little bit of saliva, rub it into your spleen area, the belly button area, skin area, and your spleen will make antibodies to antivirals to that. It's from a modality called Body Talk. I'll have all about that on our Facebook page. This is Dr. Sarah Larson here with Heather Powers and Jason Michaels at CRN Studios in Sunland, California. We are sending the sunshine and our love to you. You are not alone. We love you so much. You're in our prayers. Thank you so much. And we send out a little shout out to Dr. Parthenia Grant.
We love you.
We love you. We are so grateful for you and all that you do. Kim Michaels and Jose as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Are you tired of hearing your favorite talk radio show sound like this? What if you could hear your favorite shows in crystal clear, high-definition digital sound? Well, with CRN Digital Talk Radio's 6 channels of high-definition radio, you can now hear all of your favorite hosts like you've never heard them before in CRN HD. The difference is amazing. Catch your favorite political hosts like Dennis Prager, Tom Hartman, Barry Farber, and so many more. Entertainment and lifestyle programming like The Robert Conrad Show, The What's Cooking Show, and The What's Cooking on Wine Show, all in true CRN HD audio. Sports, business, travel, food, wine, politics, there is something for everyone, and it's all available in CRN.